Have you ever stopped and wondered if maybe, just maybe, the villains in our favorite stories were, well, simply misunderstood?
Or what it really means to be good when, society's already slapped that wicked label on you.
Exactly. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This is where we take all those sources you've shared, the articles, the research, the notes, and we dig in to pull out the absolute best bits, the real nuggets of knowledge and insight.
Think of it as your shortcut, basically. Getting you well-informed, maybe finding some surprising facts along the way.
And hopefully having a bit of fun doing it. Remember, this Deep Dive, it's built for you, the listener, bringing you right into the conversation with us.
So let's get into it.
Today, we are diving headfirst into something genuinely monumental. It's the 2024 musical fantasy film Wicked, Part 1.
And this isn't just any movie, right? It's become a global thing, huge at the box office, sparking all sorts of conversations.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to get beyond just the basic plot points. We're going to unpack this, well, incredible journey it took, from page to the stage, and then finally hitting the big screen.
Well, look at where it came from. Those tricky production challenges they faced. How they actually brought Oz to life.
And really importantly, how it was received and the kind of cultural waves it's been making. We've got some surprising facts and behind-the-scenes stuff.
And we'll try to get at why this story, still hits home for so many people. It really feels more relevant now than ever, somehow.
Couldn't agree more. Its whole journey to the screen was almost as epic as the story itself. So let's start by actually stepping into that world, into Oz. The story, the characters.
Right, entering the Emerald City, as it were.
So this core story, it's definitely not just Wizard of Oz again, is it? It's doing something very different.
That's such a key point to make up front. It is absolutely not a remake of the 1939 movie, not even really a direct prequel in that sense. It's an adaptation, there's a really rich one, of the first act of the Broadway musical, the one from 2003.
Which itself came from Gregory Maguire's novel from '95.
Exactly, loosely based on that novel.
Oh.
And the whole thing is set in Oz, but crucially, before Dorothy shows up, before the ruby slippers, before Toto, all of that.
So it's an origin story.
It is. Specifically, it's digging into the backstory of Elphaba, who, eventually becomes the Wicked Witch of the West in her relationship with Glinda Upland.
Who becomes Glinda the Good. And that relationship is really the absolute core, isn't it? This complex, evolving friendship.
Totally. It's the heart of the whole thing. They start out at Shiz University, and they are just polar opposites. You've got Elphaba, green skin, these sort of uncontrollable powers.
Yeah, she's an outcast, really misunderstood from the get-go.
Right, carrying all that judgment. And then there's Glinda, popular, bubbly, privileged, seems totally comfortable in that Oz social scene.
And their first meeting, their clash, it's actually pretty funny, but also sets up so much tension.
Oh, definitely. They're forced to be roommates, right?
Yeah.
And they do not hit it off initially. But somehow, through shared stuff, seeing past the surface, they form this really unexpected deep bond.
Which leads them eventually to the Emerald City.
Yeah, they go together, hoping to beat the Wizard of Oz. They think he can help Elphaba with her magic, maybe fix things.
But that's where the big twist comes in, the reality check.
Exactly. They find out he's not what they thought. Not this all-powerful wizard. He's just an ordinary guy.
A fraud, basically.
A fraud using tricks and deception to stay in power. And that discovery, it forces this huge split between them. It sends Elphaba down this path of rebellion against this corrupt system.
Which really makes you ask that question we started with. What makes someone wicked? Is it just because they challenge the status quo?
Right.
Or fight back against injustice?
It absolutely forces you, the viewer, to wrestle with that, to question those easy labels of good and evil, hero and villain. It's much more complicated than that.
Yeah, it's not just telling a story. It's asking you to think about power, about how narratives get shaped. Okay, let's talk about the cast bringing this to life, because, wow, stellar casting.
Just incredible. Cynthia Erivo's as Elphaba. I mean, she's already got the Emmy, the Grammy, the Tony, a powerhouse.
And she really grounds Elphaba, doesn't she? Gives her that vulnerability, but also immense strength.
Totally. And what's really cool is how much she personally put into the character's look. Like her Wicked Witch costume, she asked for something specific, like a Jean-Paul Gaultier feel, but with a New World, Gilded Age vibe.
Really specific.
Yeah, and her ideas for the hair, the micro braids and the nails, she saw those as nods to her culture, even part of Elphaba's magic. These little details just add so much authenticity. It feels really personal to her performance.
And then you've got Ariana Grande as Glinda. a global superstar taking on this super iconic role. Her preparation was intense, right? She didn't just walk into it.
Not at all. Her dedication was pretty remarkable. She took acting and singing lessons for like a year before her first audition.
Wow.
Yeah, and she auditioned 5 times.
Yeah.
It wasn't just handed to her. Plus, she already had a connection to the music, remember? That popular song with Mika?
Oh, yeah, that used the melody from Popular.
Right, and she'd performed The Wizard and I before, too. Oh. So, she was deeply invested. Huge respect for the material.
Definitely comes across. Okay, beyond the leads, the supporting cast is stacked. Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero, people really loved his performance. Outrageous scene stealer, I think one critic called him.
He really was fantastic. He brings this perfect mix of charm, a bit of swagger, but also real heart to Fiyero. He could have just been the handsome love interest,
Right, kind of one note.
But Bailey gives him depth.
Mm-hmm.
Song, dance, acting, he nails it all. He makes Fiyero's journey from this sort of detached rich kid to someone who actually stands for something really believable. Great energy.
And then Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible and Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. Talk about bringing experience and unique energy.
Oh, completely. Yeoh is just masterful as Morrible. She starts as this maybe strict but seemingly supportive headmistress.
Yeah, you almost trust her at first.
Exactly. And then you see this gradual shift, this chilling ambition, her willingness to go along with the wizard's lies. Yeoh plays that slide into complicity so subtly, it's really unsettling.
And Goldblum as the Wizard. Perfect casting.
Inspired, right. He's got that signature Goldblum charm, the quirky delivery, makes the wizard seem whimsical, maybe even likable initially.
Which makes the reveal even more effective.
Totally. That charm just kind of peels away to show the ordinary, fraudulent man underneath. It really highlights that theme of manufactured authority, how easily people fall for charisma, even if it's hollow. It's not cartoon villainy, it's more disturbingly human.
And I have to mention Peter Dinklage voicing Dr. Dillamond, the goat professor. His role feels really pivotal, even if it's smaller.
Absolutely crucial. Dr. Dillamond is the conscience, in a way. He represents the oppressed animals in Oz, showing the real impact of the wizard's growing discrimination.
That discrimination is what really fuels Elphas' fire, isn't it?
It absolutely is. His story, his struggle, particularly losing his ability to speak, it's heartbreaking. And it directly informs Elphaba's moral compass, her drive to fight for the voiceless.
And speaking of voices, the cameos, those were a huge thrill for fans of the musical.
Oh yeah, getting Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, the original Broadway Elphaba and Glinda, to appear as members of the Emerald City Players during one short day, genius.
Such a great moment. Full circle. Brought the house down in theaters, apparently.
You bet. And it wasn't just them. Winnie Holtzman, who wrote the book for the musical, and Stephen Schwartz, the composer, they have little cameos too.
Nice nods to the creators.
Exactly. Just a really lovely, respectful way to connect the film back to its stage roots and honor that legacy.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about the journey to the screen. Because getting this movie made was, well, an odyssey is the right word, decades long.
An understatement, really. People were talking about adapting Maguire's novel into a film way back in the 90s, before the musical even existed.
Wow, really? Names like Demi Moore involved?
Yeah, Demi Moore, Robert Zemeckis, different ideas floated around. But it was Stephen Schwartz who really pushed for the stage musical first. He felt the story belonged there initially.
And he was right. The musical opened in 2003 and became this massive global hit, 4th longest running show on Broadway ever.
Over 7,500 performances, still going strong after more than 20 years. Its success definitely paved the way for the film, but man, it was not a straight path.
No kidding. Universal announced the film plans back in 2011, but then delay after delay.
Right. It was supposed to come out in 2016, then 2019, but Cats took that spot. Then 2021, but Sing 2 got that date. And the original director, Stephen Daldry, he left because of scheduling conflicts.
It just shows incredible persistence from everyone involved, doesn't it? To keep pushing for it through all that. It almost mirrors Elphaba's own story.
It really does. And all that persistence led to maybe the biggest creative decision, splitting it into 2 movies.
That was John M. Chu's call, right? After he came on board as director in early 2021. Big news at the time.
Yeah, and he was really clear about why. He basically said trying to cram the whole story into one film would mean doing real damage to it, making fatal compromise.
It makes sense. It's a dense story.
Totally. And Stephen Schwartz agreed. He pointed out how Defying Gravity works perfectly as a first-act closer on stage, so it makes a natural film cliffhanger. Plus, 2 parts allowed for what he called additive changes.
Meaning they could add more depth.
Exactly. Add depth, add surprises, explore things they couldn't in a single rushed film. It showed real respect for the source material, choosing to expand rather than cut crucial stuff. They really prioritize the story.
That definitely feels like an artistic choice, not just a commercial one. Okay, so bringing Oz itself to life, the filming, the technical side, that sounds like a huge undertaking.
Oh, immense. They really went all out, filmed mostly in England using Sky Studios' Elstree, big outdoor locations like Ivanhoe Turf that they transformed.
But they had some pretty unique problems too, right? Like paparazzi on hang gliders.
Can you believe that? Trying to get snaps of Ariana Grande in costume. She even talked about it feeling quite private until suddenly, hang gliders with GoPros overhead. Wild.
A very modern filming challenge.
For sure. And then, of course, they got hit by the SAG-AFTRA strike in 2023. Filming shut down from July to November.
Right, a reminder of how real-world events impact these huge projects.
Definitely. But maybe the boldest creative choice, technically speaking, was the live singing.
Oh yeah, Erivo and Grande insisted on recording their vocals live, right there on set. That's pretty rare for movie musicals.
Extremely rare.
Right.
And incredibly difficult. But it adds this layer of raw authenticity you just can't fake.
Explain that a bit. Singing live on set, what does that really mean for the viewer?
Well, it means the vocal performance you hear. It's happening right then, as they're acting, moving, maybe even dancing. Not pre-recorded in a quiet studio months before, and then lip-synced.
So you get all the breath, the emotion, the little imperfections.
Exactly. It captures this immediacy, this vulnerability. There are challenges, of course, background noise, microphone placement, through sheer physical effort. But Simon Hayes, who did Les Miserables, worked with Chu to make it happen. And you, as the listener watching the film, does knowing it's live change how you experience it? Does it feel more real?
I think it does. It grounds the fantasy somehow. Makes the emotions hit harder. Okay, what about the look of Oz? Chu pulled inspiration from some interesting places.
He did. For the big sets and practical effects, he looked at Spielberg's Hook.
Interesting.
Yeah, so for Wicked, that meant things like planting 9 million real tulips for Munchkinland, actually paving the yellow brick road with real mud, building that full-size Art Deco train, the unlimited one.
Wow, tangible stuff, not just CGI.
A lot of practical work. But he also cited Pleasantville and The Truman Show.
Really? How did they influence Wicked?
Thematically. He said they informed how the films portray Oz, this idea of an awakening of a generation, discovering truths that were hidden or taught differently.
Yeah.
Hints at that deeper commentary on conformity and reality versus illusion.
That's fascinating. Layers beneath the spectacle. But dealing with the legacy of the 1939 Wizard of Oz film, copyright must have been a nightmare.
Oh, a total minefield. They legally could not be a prequel to that specific movie because Warner Bros. Owns the copyright to so many iconic elements.
Like the ruby slippers.
Exactly. The ruby slippers, the specific look of the swirling yellow brick road, even Margaret Hamilton's exact shade of green skin for the witch.
So how did they navigate that? They had to create their own distinct Oz.
They had a copyright expert on board the whole time. It forced some creative choices. Dorothy's slippers, they had to be silver, like in Vaughn's original book.
Right, back to the source novel.
And Elphaba's green skin. This is cool.
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo worked with a makeup artist, David Stoneman, to create a unique shade. They called it Cynthia Green.
Ah, love that.
Yeah. Subtly different from Hamilton's. No chin mole either. That was copyrighted too. They had to verify designs for Munchkinland, the Emerald City, everything to make sure they weren't infringing. It's incredible attention to detail.
Speaks volumes about the care they took. Okay, let's talk music. The heart of it all. The orchestration sounds massive in the film.
It really is. Designed for that big screen impact. Jeff Atmajian updated the original Broadway orchestrations by William David Braun, but he expanded the orchestra dramatically.
How much bigger?
The stage show uses about 23 musicians. The film. A whopping 125-piece orchestra.
Wow, that's huge.
Huge. Conducted by Stephen Oramus and John Powell. Powell also did the incidental score. It just gives everything this incredible richness and power. The soundtrack came out pretty quickly too, November 22nd, followed by the score in early December.
And people could finally hear how those iconic songs were reimagined. All the big ones are there. No One Mourns the Wicked, The Wizard and I, What Is This Feeling?
Popular. Dancing Through Life, I'm Not That Girl, One Short Day, Defying Gravity. All the hits.
Yeah.
But what's also really clever is how they subtly wove in themes from the second movie, Wicked. For good. Little motifs from songs like For Good or Wonderful appear in the score of Part 1.
Ah, connecting the two musically even before Part 2 comes out. Smart.
Very smart. Creates this subconscious emotional thread across the whole story.
Let's get into some specifics of how songs were changed for the screen. Something bad. That became a much bigger deal.
Yeah, in the stage show, it's basically a conversation between Dillamond and Elphaba in the film. It's transformed into this full musical number, a secret meeting of the animals off campus, singing about their oppression.
Really amps up the stakes for them.
Totally. Gives them a collective voice, makes their plight much more immediate and powerful, really shows you why Elphaba gets so fired up.
And Dancing Through Life got a whole new look and feel, too.
It did. Instead of being out in the open at Shiz, it's now inside this amazing circular rotating library set, much more visually spectacular, and they added an extended dance break.
And the Ozdust ballroom scene?
Reimagined as this sort of gritty, underground nightclub vibe in the underbelly of Oz, complete with animal musicians. Very different energy from the stage version.
Even Popular, which is maybe the most famous song, got tweaked.
Yep, they extended it.
Yeah.
Added some key changes, some extra vocal bits, really let Ariana Grande showcase her range and comedic talent even more. Made a beloved song even bigger.
And One Short Day, the Emerald City arrival.
That got significantly expanded too. They added this whole Wizomania show within the show sequence, gives more backstory on the wizard, the Grimmery.
And that's where the Menzel and Chenoweth cameos are.
Exactly. As stars of the Wizomania show, perfect placement.
Okay, and then the big one. Defying Gravity, the climax, the cliffhanger.
The absolute peak of part one, they pulled out all the stops, extended the scene, made Elphaba's final battle cry the big ending moment.
And the music there is special too, right? Inspired by 2001.
Yeah, the editor, Myron Kirstein, suggested adding this musical swell inspired by Richard Strauss's also sprack Zarathustra, the famous theme from 2001, as this huge cosmic feeling of triumph.
And visually, the cape moment.
Oh, yeah. Her cape billows out, fills the screen. It's a cinematic nod to the famous cherry picker lift effect in the stage show, where Elphaba literally seems to rise into the air. It's a stunning image. Leaves you breathless.
Absolutely. Okay, that brings us perfectly into talking about the phenomenon of Wicked. The reception, the impact, and some unexpected twists along the way. Let's start with the box office, because it was just massive.
The hype was real even before it opened. Pre-sales were huge. Number 2 first-day pre-seller of 2024 on Fandango, only behind Deadpool and Wolverine. Best PG-rated pre-seller since Frozen 2 and the live-action Lion King.
And the actual numbers were staggering. What was the final worldwide gross?
Around $756 million worldwide on a $150 million budget. That's a net profit of $230 million. Huge numbers for any movie, let alone a musical.
Making it the highest-grossing Oz film ever. Highest-grossing musical adaptation. Just incredible.
Its opening weekend was record-breaking for a Broadway adaptation. $112.5 million domestic, over $160 million worldwide. Beat Into the Woods, Les Mis, it even passed the lifetime domestic gross of Grease.
Wow, Grease, that's iconic. And its success wasn't just in theaters, right?
No way. Huge on VOD, over $70 million in its first week, a record for Universal. Then it hit Peacock streaming and became their biggest movie launch ever. It just connected everywhere.
And that connection showed up in the reviews and audience scores, too. Critics generally loved it.
Yeah, strong positive consensus. 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic score was solid, too, generally favorable. Critics highlighted the Erivo Grande pairing, the sheer bravura and charm.
And audiences?
Even more enthusiastic, got that rare A cinema score on opening night, 92% positive on post-track. The word of mouth was basically, you have to see this.
People praised Choose Direction, the performances, especially Erivo and Grande's chemistry and comedy.
The sets, costumes, too. Scenes like the Ozdust Ballroom and Defying Gravity were singled out as some of the best moments in film that year. Kyle Smith called it most entertaining film of the year, most dazzling live-action musical since Chicago. High praise indeed.
But it wasn't universal praise, right? There were some criticisms.
No, definitely some critiques. Some found the pacing slow in spots. Others questioned splitting it into that. A few called it a cynical cash grab, though the creators argued it was artistic.
Any other common complaints?
Some felt supporting characters were a bit thin or found parts of it visually unappealing. Even some who admitted cringing at bits of the score. Which, just goes to show how subjective film is.
How did your experience line up listening now? Did you feel the pacing work? It's always interesting how different people react.
Definitely food for thought. Beyond reviews, it got major industry recognition, too.
Huge recognition. Named one of the top 10 films of 2024 by the AFI. Won Best Film at the National Board of Review, which is massive for a fantasy film. First one since Moulin Rouge to win that.
And the Oscars. 10 nominations. Won 2 big ones. Best costume design for Paul Tazewell, making history as the first African-American man to win that award. And best production design really cemented its place.
Okay, let's dive into some of those unexpected currents. The marketing campaign was absolutely everywhere.
Oh, it was unprecedented. Super Bowl trailer, Lego trailer, those cool Olympics tie-ins with the train in Paris.
The Journey Through Oz press tour.
Right. Transforming cities. They had 450 promotional partners, generated something like $350 million in media value. Universal said it was the most ever for a movie campaign. Just inescapable.
But all that attention brought scrutiny. The poster controversy, for instance.
Yeah, that was tricky. The official poster recreated the stage art, but a fan edit popped up online, obscured Elphaba's eyes, added red lips.
And Cynthia Erivo had a strong reaction.
Very strong, and understandably so. She called it deeply hurtful, saying, "To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me." Quinn, she's a real person, not just an illustration. Ariana Grande also commented on how complex and troublesome AI can be in these contexts.
Really highlights that line between fan creation and respecting the artist and their image.
Absolutely. And then there was that bizarre Mattel doll situation. Something else.
Right. Leaked song snippets first.
Which was bad enough, spoiling bits of the music. But then the packaging, directing people to an adult film website instead of the movie site.
An unbelievable mistake.
Astonishing. Mattel apologized, told people to destroy the packaging. They even got sued over it.
Yeah.
Just a completely unforeseen PR nightmare for a family-friendly movie tie-in.
And on a more serious note, the film faced some boycotts and censorship calls.
It did, reflecting how art can get caught in wider debates. It was reportedly pulled from some theaters in Kuwait over public ethics. And a U.S.-based Christian group, 1 Million Moms, called for a boycott, claiming it promoted witchcraft and an LGBTQ agenda.
How did people involved with the film respond?
Kristen Chenoweth spoke out pretty strongly. She defended it as entertainment, artistry, highlighting the girl power themes and encouraging people to see it. She framed the boycotters as a small group who just don't get it. It shows how differently people can interpret the same piece of art.
Despite all that, the film clearly resonated deeply, culturally.
Oh, massively. The original Broadway stars, Idina and Kristen, loved it. Lorna Luft, Judy Garland's daughter, called it breathtaking. That feels significant.
And tons of celebrities were raving about it. Spielberg, George Lucas, Mark Hamill calling it an instant classic. Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds.
That level of cross-industry praise is pretty rare. But maybe more importantly, its themes really hit home for audiences, especially releasing when it did after the 2024 U.S. election.
People saw it as an escape, but also relevant.
Both. A much-needed escape, but also a sharp reminder about navigating corruption and discrimination. Themes of kindness, friendship, acceptance, LGBTQ+ representation, disability, animal rights, female friendship. They all seem to land with extra root for many viewers.
And we saw that engagement online too, right? Viral moments.
Definitely. That clip about holding space for Defying Gravity went viral. People recreating the "what is this feeling" choreography on TikTok. Fans weren't just watching, they were interacting with it, playing with it.
Which points to a lasting legacy. It's already showing up on best of lists.
Yep. Best musicals, best fantasy films of the century so far. And there's already talk about wicked attractions at Universal theme parks, Epic Universe, maybe Universal Studios Great Britain.
So it's becoming more than just a movie. It's a whole universe now.
Exactly. A growing phenomenon.
So where does Oz go from here? The story's not finished yet.
Not by a long shot. The direct sequel, Wicked, for Good, is already filmed and set for release November 21st, 2025. That'll cover the second act of the musical, wrapping up Elphaba and Glinda's story as we know it from the stage.
But maybe not the end of the Wicked film universe.
Seems unlikely to be the absolute end. Stephen Schwartz and Winnie Holzman have already mentioned they're discussing potential future projects, expanding the world beyond these two parts.
Interesting. So a long-term vision.
Looks like it. More stories from Oz could definitely be on the horizon. The potential's huge.
Well, wrapping up this deep dive, it's pretty clear Wicked. Part I is more than just a successful adaptation. It feels like a real testament to the power of storytelling, doesn't it?
Absolutely. About friendship, identity, finding the courage to, well, defy expectations. We've seen the incredible craft involved, navigating those legal hurdles, committing to live vocals. It really asks you to look deeper.
It does. It pulls you into Oz, visually, emotionally, and makes you question those easy assumptions. So as you've been listening, what parts of this dive into Wicked really stuck with you? Were you surprised by any of the production details or the controversies?
And when you think about Elphaba and Glinda, their journey, What stands out most to you about that incredible, complicated friendship?
And maybe one last thought to leave you with. In a world that's often so quick to label people, Wicked really pushes back. It makes us ask who gets to decide what's good and what's evil. It makes us think about those quiet acts of rebellion, the ones that truly defy gravity. What does it really mean to stand up for your beliefs, even if the world decides to call you wicked?